Hey guys, so we're going to take what we know, which is sort of our basic facts, basic multiplication facts. And what we know, right, too, is that multiplication and division are the inverse operation of each other, meaning they're each other's opposite, right? So you can divide to undo multiplication and you can multiply to undo division. So what we're going to see here is that we have these sort of different mysteries in this first example, in this first scenario. So if we look at this one here, we're given some information that we have two groups of something that is equal to a certain amount of tenths, and then we're going to use that to kind of come up with creating a division problem. So two groups of something tenths is 10 tenths. Well, our basic fact comes in handy here, right? Because we know that 2 times 5 is 10. So we're going to say two groups of 5 tenths is 10 tenths. Or we can say 10 tenths, right? If we think about what happens in the place value spot there, if we have our ones with a decimal, that's decimal, and then we have tenths over here. Well, if we try to put 10 tenths right here, it's going to have that sort of bump up thing happen, right? Where this ran out of room. You can't have a two-digit number here. So this we is going to come over here. We're going to end up with one whole. That one kind of disappears and leaves a zero. So we have 10 tenths or 1 and 0 tenths as its equivalent. So we're going to type this right here in as 1 or 1.0, either way. So we know that two groups of 5 tenths is 10 tenths or 1. So what that means then is we know that 1, so 1, boop, boop, 1 divided by 2 gets us 5 tenths. And we're not going to write it in words, but this time we're going to write it kind of in the decimal form, 5 tenths. Okay. So down here on example 2, real similar, right? Same kind of concept. But now we have not just tenths, but we have hundredths. So we're going to think about we're starting with 8 groups of a mystery. Amount of hundredths is equal to 32 hundredths. Well, 8 times what gets us 32? 8, 16, 24, 32, 4. So we know that it's going to take 4 hundredths to equal 30, to 8 groups of 400, sorry, to equal 32 hundredths, right? So that same kind of strategy, if we use this place value idea, we've got wholes, we've got a decimal, and we have tenths, and we have hundredths. Well, if we say that we have 32 hundredths, right, and we try to put 32 hundredths on here, it ends up needing more space, right? You can only have one digit per place value spot. So this bumps right here, and it actually just comes out as what we're used to seeing, right? This goes away, that bumped there as 32 hundredths. So when we type it in, we'll say 32 hundredths, okay? So that tells us then that we know that 32 hundredths divided by 8 gets us this amount, this mystery right here, not so mystery anymore, amount of hundredths, which is 4 hundredths, 0.04 hundredths. Whoops, remembering that the 4 needs to be in the hundredths place value spot, not right next to the decimal, right? That would be 4 tenths, but 4 hundredths. Okay. So then the last kind of thing here that you're going to be practicing is thinking about taking this same type of logic and using it to apply these sort of division problems in your head using your basic facts to help you. So if you know that what you're trying to figure out is 63 divided by 9, right? But all of a sudden these, it's not just a 63 and it's not a 9, it's 6.3 and 9.0. Well, what we know is that 63 divided by 9, right, is still going to be 7. So we're going to just plop in a 7 right here. But what is different here is it's not a 63, it's a 6.3. So that left us with one digit behind the decimal, right, in the original problem. So we have one digit behind the decimal. So we're going to go ahead and whoop this, whoop, over one spot. And as we click right here, we'll say, all right, we're going to call this 7 tenths. We're not going to whoop it twice here because this 0 doesn't actually hold value. Okay, so same is going to go here on the next one. We have 9 tenths divided by 3 tenths. Well, 9 divided by 3, we get 3, right? And this time we have 2 digits behind the decimal in the original problem. So we're going to basically whoop it back 2 place value spots to end up as 3 hundredths.